Hello there, and welcome to the first episode of my new gameplay series for Exotic Industries, a mod pack for Factorio that I recently discovered. In this one, you have to cross through different technological ages until you finally hit the exotic age and win the game by building a fancy superstructure. So, in general, this is a nice and nifty overhaul mod, which has a lot of resemblance to the things we know, but it features a lot of new things like, we got new forms of products everywhere. There's trains available very early on, oil processing is available very early on, and all these things. So the mod list that I'm using here is just the regular mod list that comes with a mod pack. I did add Hell mod, Fear of the Dark, because I want to have that for the sake of the clarity of the video, and nanobots, and I think we got the max rate calculator, and beyond that, really nothing world changing, just a few quality of life mods here and there. Squeak through must be available, bottleneck is on, so just those little small things. So the start of the game is pretty simple. We have to go through red science, and then we can go into the next technological age, the STEAM age. In this mod pack, it works like that. The first few technologies of every new age are cheap, and the more of them you research, the costier they'll go. So we got various different technologies that are, well, closely resembling the base game, but expanding heavily on that. So we're going to discover and explore all these things, and what's really important for me for this playthrough is I'm going to edit this a little bit more for the sake of fast forwarding building up of structures. So basically, whenever I have nothing to say and just have to tinker, I'm going to step forward. Let me know if I skip too much, or if you want to see some specific building processes more in detail in the series. No problem. So the first thing that we have to do, like in all Factorio scenarios, is we have to set up a bit of a mining ops. The first tech packs need just iron and copper ingots, which are basically the precursors of plates. So here we can craft ingots out of poor chunks. Let me show you how that comes together. So here in this mod we have surface mining and deep mining. When we do surface mining, we get poor ore. If we do deep mining, we get proper ore. So at the beginning of the game we only have ore mining, and therefore we're going to have to deal with a side product here called slag. Slag is, well, what we require to get stone. Bear in mind that when you're looking around here, there's no stone patch available. Stone is a little bit special in this mod pack. You get a technology later on, stone quarry, allowing you to build just stone quarries wherever you want, so stone will be eventually no issue at all, but currently it is a rather scarce material. Anywho, so the thing I'm going to do is the thing I'm always going to do. I'm going to grind up some materials until we have a decent small army of burner mining drills. So, I mean, generally they consist here in this mod just as in vanilla, only out of iron. So I'm going to give you a few impressions over the progression here while we're going through the very basics of the beginning phase. So the first few parts are taking shape here. We got the basics here. We're taking advantage of a combination of these things, and we're now setting up our first pickup station for copper. So the beginning phase is, well, let's just say it quite directly, pretty much the same in most mod packs, except you're playing something sadistic like Pyanodons. You're most of the time just wheezing around like that. I have a classic coal production daisy chain here, and beyond that, we're now expanding these systems merely until I have a, well, a pleasant amount of income, which I see fit for the next station, and that will be the production of science. But until then, I want to happily grind up a few more of these. See you there. On a second thought, I went against that, and I figured that we actually should be going for the real deal in terms of smelting as soon as possible. And I figured that it's about time that we're just going to create our first science packs and get those burner labs going. Interestingly enough, we're going to have to bring up Brits for the recipe there, so that's going to be that. With these things set up in motion, we're now finally able to get our first technology down. Check out this. We're doing science by burning things. I just need to grab something to burn. So I really want to keep this face of the factory as small and compact as possible because we're basically not really efficient here at this point, and the faster I stop doing inefficient like that, the better for all of us. So I think I'm going to keep with these two labs, and we're going to start researching the Dark Age now. I think that's going to be where we're headed, and then we're going to research a couple of goodies. So we can go for assemblers. That's always a great thing. And beyond that, well, let's see what we're going to acquire. I have to go through the technologies as fast as possible to get to the mining technologies. I haven't seen it yet, but well, there's electricity down the road. But first, we need to find out what we can do for the green science packs. Well, whatever might be the case, I think I need to stock up a little bit more on copper, and, well, beyond that, well, I'll keep researching until I find the next point of access there, because, well, I really need to know where I am working towards to next. So the first technology I decided to give a go now is the burner assembler, because I figured that even if it is just a burner assembler, there are already things that I want to put on automation. Transport belts are something you cannot even start too early to automate them, although I discovered that handcrafting here is actually quite fast. Nevertheless, there's it will be just faster if I at least pre-produce the preliminary products, you know. So therefore, burner assemblers were basically the next best thing to orient towards to. Beyond that, well, there's nothing really exciting until we hit green science, I guess. So while I was preparing a few of these burner assemblers, I realized that this mod is a little bit different than I thought. So check out the ingredients of this burner assembler. It's basically consisting completely out of copper and stone. And here we have also a heavier involvement of copper. So therefore, I cranked up the numbers of copper ingot producers by a tad bit. And considering the fact that even our science is being done by burning things, I also cranked up the amount of labs a little bit more and the amount of mining machines a little bit more. So all in all, we're now consuming more burn bolts than before. And, well, what can I say? It's a crazy time, especially considering that these tech packs, they only need half a second of crafting time. But we're still just chunking through the technologies. The next project, beyond carving through the tech packs, well, let's see, can we already produce the next tier? Nah. Well, besides carving through these tech packs, we'll now be setting up a small lane of assemblers that will do some automation for us. But until then, I'll be just researching. Ah, it's blocked behind gun turrets. Now that's odd. So we're going to go through these, and I'm going to set up a bit of a assembler array that we're going to use for refining the materials that we got, because the ingots are already piling up. Although it might not be much, I got my little empire here by running somewhat. So we have now unlocked all the technologies we'd require to basically make green science, but In this mod pack, we need to discover enough technologies of the previous age to make the transition into the next one. So we're now researching basically until we're eligible to unlock the next tech pack. I mean, I don't want to mutter about that. There's a couple of really useful things that we can go for. And this little setup that I went for here, it is extremely minimalistic. We just insert material in here, well, like this, and we're producing the basics there. But most importantly, we're by now producing the transport belts. I'm just transitioning slowly into dumping these items into containers, but little by little, we're now starting to automate processes that we weren't before. And also, the recipe for iron chests is monstrous in this game. So, well, I recently fallen again in love with the wooden chests. So we're going to continue expanding on this one. Most importantly, I want to start creating more and more of these parts, and also start buffering these parts here. I mean, generally, I'm no big fan of buffering. I always say to myself, buffer only if you really, really have to. But in a very early phase of the game like this, we will actually profit a lot by having the materials for the handcrafting just in our pocket, you know. That's basically what this boils down to. This is just a parts factory, basically. Anywho, we're going through the pains here, so the regular pains, you know, needing to refuel your stations constantly, and due to the fact that this mod pack has a way higher strain on the copper consumption, this actually makes the whole thing here, well, I wouldn't say more horrible or anything, but more demanding in terms of copper production. Pretty much okay with that, but certainly comes quite surprising to me. We do need an ungodly amount of red science packs by now, so the technologies do grow costier and costier, and I do, well, I see myself bumping up the numbers of my labs more and more here. By the way, the coal patch here, I'm looking forward to deep mine that one day, but not for now. So basically, well, I really hope that we're going to have a steam-powered version of mining here someday, because in all honesty, the current situation, well, it is okay. I can get myself through with that, but it certainly ain't a pleasant situation either, and I do not find enough wood for my liking, but I do like these huge rocks that contain some coal. They are basically, well, a double up in terms of resources that I require. I also discovered that stone here can be made on my character all by himself infinitely. So I do want to make sure that we keep handcrafting constantly, because I have the slight feeling as if this is pretty important thing at this stage of the game, and I think, well, by now, we're probably just sticking with the production of these iron chests here. If we don't have wood to work with, we gotta go with iron. And probably I'll just be cracking up more and more of these labs, because research progress is painstakingly slow. It's something I really gotta say. But, well, at the same time, I really don't mind if the very first age can be felt a little bit more than the others, you know. So we certainly, let's see, how do these interact with each other? So we have way too few iron plates in production to satisfy this thing, but we do produce quite a lot of belts in this machine, so I am okay with that. I am completely okay with that. Here we ran out of copper bars to work with. Not so okay with that, but all in all, well, for a starter array, I think it is all quite okay. I certainly despise this entire array by now, and well, you might have noticed or not. I keep it very small here because I really don't want to have to deal with all the leftover building parts later. That's one thing I really dislike when I'm going too deep into the burner drill phase. That at the end of the day, well, I don't know. Let's see if the burner mining drill has a recipe. All right. They go into stone quarries. All right, so they have their second life here. That does relieve me, but yeah, the costs go higher and higher. That's no joke here. So, well, by now I do consider actually investing into some automated science production, but that's not really an option to be quite honest. No, I think the future of this entire problematic here lies in just whipping up more labs and feeding them with more and more material. The only thing I'm a little bit sad about is that we don't have enough iron plates, so let's feed a little bit more of that into the system. But as you see there, we're already much faster in terms of producing all the items here. Just don't forget to set up the limiters. Yeah, so yeah, let's see how long this dark age of burner stuff will last. Grudgingly opted into upgrading my mining capacities even further after seeing that we're really slouching through the research very slowly, when we finally got the happy message that we're now eligible to research the actual Steam age. So with that, we're going to have access to the stone quarry, but I failed to find a mining technology so far. That's a little bit unnerving to me because I really wonder where and when we will start to do mining with other methods. So, to some degree, I'm just afraid that we're stuck with the burner drills for a longer time. But, well, we'll see about that. Probably these work on regular patches too. I don't know. I will find out. All I do know for now is that we're currently sitting on a pretty glorious amount of copper ingots, and the Steam age is incoming. Well, you also see that I practically stacked up on every avenue here, and since I don't see any improvements in terms of the situation with miners in the next time, I'm going to amp up my capacities here even further, because you know, I do think two things. First off, I saw that every one of these burner mining drills will have a second life in the stone quarry technology, which is alone already pretty much enough to justify the action here. And the other thing is that, well, if I don't do it now, we need those resources, you know? I really just do need these resources, and I don't want to set myself back unnecessarily. We do need more and more tech packs, and I think this is the most intense session of Tier 1 researching that I ever did in my Factorio time, and I must say, I do enjoy myself. Although what I don't enjoy here is this constant hand loading and unloading of things. I really despise that to some degree. But you know, there's always something in the early game that's a little bit annoying to deal with. I mean, I even go now as far as amping up my coal production yet another time. You know, I really thought that I'd be okay with 6 of them. But no, we're going to take 8 of them. But that's mostly because practically everything here is currently burning something. And it'd take me... Well, I think I don't need that much time to actually get rid of all my coal. So we're finally in the Steam Age. So with Steam Age comes Steam Power. I think this might be one of the very first things that I wanted to discover. But first off, what do we need for the Steam Age technology packs? We do need steam engines. These are concocted out of pipes, mechanical parts, and, well, alright. That doesn't look too terrible in all honesty. The pipe is made out of a substantial amount of iron. That's a nuisance at worst, but not really a big issue. Okay then. So that means we're going to require new tech packs now. So what can we do here? Lab research speed? That's not really interesting. Coal coke processing? That's more interesting. The steam crusher. So, well, not quite sure what these do. Ah, yeah, crushed iron. And then well, where are we going with these crushed materials? Well, I'll look it up in between, but for now, it's safe to say that these are quite important technologies. So, burner heater, but, well, I am somewhat, I'm somewhat afraid that we're going to see mining as we know it only in the electrical age, you know? Electric miners and stuff. I want to check this out. Well, but not now. So, well, there's quite a path ahead of us. But one thing is for sure, I need to restructure my ore intake because we won't be able to get through this as I thought we'd be able to get through this because, you know, it's quite obvious that we have to work with these miners much longer than I thought. So it might be actually worth thinking about even setting up some smelter stacks here. You saw me stuttering there because I just suddenly realized how slow the green tech packs were produced. So slowly it dawns on me that we are here for a pretty rough ride because all in all, the green tech is so much slower than the red tech. We need to automate here something. It won't work in the long run without a serious amount of automation. So what tech is the best tech to pick here? I think, well, what can we actually do with that steam, you know? Can't we do steam mining? That would be awesome. We can produce steam assemblers, alright. These would be faster, I suppose. But beyond that, well, advanced material processing. We can unlock steel furnaces quite early on. And we got basic oil processing available, alright. So whatever might be the case, we're going to go through steam power and the other technologies. And wow, I gotta say, we do require a lot more capacities here. I really got to stack. Wow, okay. Whew. That's rough. Especially since I now have to consider whether I want to find a way to automatically load all those burner mining drills, or just accept that I'll have to run through my early base like a moron and refill all those things constantly. Because if you know, the thing here is, one miner hardly satisfies the production capacity of one of those furnaces. So, in a nutshell, we have way more furnaces than we actually need here. So, that could be a lot compactified, and I think this should be the next thing to do because, you know, geez, do you see? We're requiring here alone 93 tech packs of the green kind. and the numbers are only going to be bumped up from here. And while it's nice and dandy to pre-produce those little mechanical part thingies and the like, well, that won't carry us through the action in the long in this regard here early on. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to stay handcrafting for now, because it might be not nearly as efficient as mass producing these pods, but since I do see that we require a mind-numbing amount of these packs, and since I do also realize that, look at this, we can produce 200 of these. I have the material, I just don't have the production speed. So yeah, of course we're going to stick with that. But now I need to consider some better processing of these ores, or I should not say mining of these ores. So that's what I pretty much came up with in the end. So we're here, well, it's really not beautiful, alright? We got the fuel provision here for the burner mining drills, and they're outputting their poor quality ore here on the belt. And when you check this out, here we're now over providing, but we're at least now capable of, well, how to put it, getting some sort of a real industrial style production here going. The only thing we do require here is a little bit of a filter here at the splitter to take care of the slag for us, otherwise we would be deep in slag. So we're going to copy that little thing here, or, well, actually we're going to pick it up like that, because I don't have another one of these. Should really change that, I'm not that out of materials. So here goes the next thing. We're going to set up one little workshop that's going to transform the slag that we got into something more processable. But what's really important for me is I want to have that rolling over, well, a buffer of sorts. So if we ever don't get the stuff processed in time, we don't suffer an immediate problem. I really got to check out if these work out or not, because, you know, those burner inserters, they are terribly slow. That's one thing for sure. But now there's one cool thing that we can do now, and that's providing an input to this machinery here via this pathway. So this is really one step forward. I need to do the same thing now for copper as well, but, you know, we got ourselves a small scale throughput of these items, and I must say I feel like we're not really that far away of real automation here. But yeah, well, it's still a pretty painstaking thing. Let's see, how do these play along with each other? We still have quite the overproduction. That's okay. But at the end of the day, we're at least now producing a decent amount of ingots. I do want to go for ore automation as soon as possible, because that seems to be the only feasible thing. But, well, we have to set up a similar machinery now on the copper patch. And that's what bothers me the most. The refueling, you know, I don't really see a efficient method of doing it automatically currently without losing my mind. I do see several methods that include me just going flat out bonkers while trying that, but, you know, that can't be a method that we're going to go for in the long run. Anywho, I think that concludes episode 1 quite well. I hope you liked the new format. Let me know in the comment section below. I really try my best to cut out the less interesting parts here in this series and keep it with the more interesting things. Would really love to know what you guys think. And yeah, next time we're going to get ourselves through the ruddy depths of the Steam Age somehow. I think what needs to get done next is an array that produces the green science and pushes forward. I don't have the materials for a real base yet, but enough about that. That's material for the next episode. Catch you guys there. Leave me your comments down below and leave me a thumbs up, and of course consider subscribing. That's a wonderful way of helping out this channel and it doesn't cost you anything. And yeah, beyond that, check out the description box down there. Big thanks to all the supporters of the channel. I really appreciate, and there's PayPal, Patreon, and Buy Me a Coffee as ways and means to support this channel, and I'd be delighted if you'd give them a look. That being said, I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks so much for watching this video until the very end. It really means more to me than you might think. And besides that, see you guys next time.